hybrid working in a post-COVID world has thrown up a multitude of issues for employers. Possibly top of the list is managing their colleagues, their employees, people that were once almost at arm's length in an office and now at home. So many different aspects to this, and one that I thought about this morning: confidential information. And I was thinking, how there must be significant concerns about how that information is looked after in a home instead of the workplace.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, we've been helping clients with, lots of their concerns and challenges over the last 6 months, and new things come out all the time. But with the confidential information issue, it's really important that employers look at this, in a new light of what is being dealt with at home. How is confidential information being protected at home? And most employers will be, operating a system where people remotely access on a secure network the IT system. So from a cybersecurity perspective, there's probably quite a lot of protection in there, but people still like to print things off. People still like to leave things lying around. In an office environment, your office is probably going to be locked. It's only going to be the employees of that employer that are going to be seeing that information. But at home, unless you're living alone, you've probably got other people in that household that may inadvertently see that information and may not be aware that it has to be treated confidentially. So employees really need to make sure that they're working somewhere that is private, that the confidential information is secure, that they're not leaving screens on, that if they're on calls, if they're on video meetings, that they're using headphones, for example, to make sure that the clients or the customers that they're talking to, the information that they're giving is not being relayed around the house, for example. So I think employers need to, look at refreshing some of their policies around confidential information, how it's used, how it's stored, reissue those policies and keep reminding employees of the importance of securing confidential information, at home or whatever other remote location they're working from.
Something else that I thought of, I was wondering about, a lot of companies will have their top performers. I just wondered if it makes it easier for those people to perhaps wonder if the grass is greener elsewhere, and perhaps consider their options and pursue other roles where maybe they might not have done so willingly or ably back in the office.
Yes, I think there's an unintended consequence, I think, of people working from home and having worked more independently over the last 18 months. And that's a sense of empowerment that it's given people, in terms of they've developed some softer skills, resilience. They've probably developed their IT skills a little more. And I think there will be some people who do actually think, I can do this on my own, or I've actually learned some skills that are going to be useful for a new employer. And it's obviously much easier to have a conversation with a recruitment consultant if you're working from home, or to do a video interview if you're working from home, or to even pop out physically to an interview. We've all probably worked in offices where we've seen people, furtively sort of skirting off at about 4:30, and we probably know that they're off to an interview. Much easier, obviously, to do that if you're not in the office environment. But on a serious note, I think that if employers are concerned about employees looking at leaving to join a competitor, or looking at perhaps setting up on their own, as they may want to do so. They need to really look at the restrictive covenants they have in place in respect to those employees and make sure that those are fit for purpose. So, I'd certainly advise employers, particularly with those, as you refer to, sort of star performers, reviewing the restrictive covenants and making sure they are really fit for purpose at the current time.
There's no doubt team dynamics have been turned on their head. But what red flags do you think employers should be looking out for when they are managing people who are working from home?
I think a lot of managers have struggled with managing people remotely and will continue to struggle with managing people remotely. And one of the issues is because there's quite a lot of surveys that have been done recently which are showing that managers, or some managers still don't trust employees working from home. They think that they are not necessarily performing in the way they should, even though their performance and their output is still good. There is this presenteeism aspect that some managers will still hold onto. So there is a need to really make sure that managers are equipped and trained to manage people remotely. There's a real need, I think, for managers to agree a communication structure with employees who are working remotely as well, whether that's a weekly check-in, a daily check-in, whatever works, whatever is fit for purpose for that particular situation. But otherwise, you're going to probably find a situation occurs where managers are overzealous in their monitoring of employees, which is going to, create some tensions. And with a lack of trust or a perceived lack of trust, it's probably going to end up creating quite a toxic relationship. So, communication, etiquette, and training managers in how to manage remotely, I think, are two things that really need to be on employers' agendas.